Hello, everyone. This is the Dank Lord of the Memes, otherwise known as Billy, and today I am going to be reviewing The Black Racer and Shilo Norman, which is a tribute comic to Jack Kirby, who would have turned 100 this year had he still been alive. So, compared to the last book that I read from this tribute series, which was Newsboy Legion and Boy Commandos, this was, in my opinion, a better book. I could actually understand what was going on. It wasn't confused about the story, and the flow and pace of the book was pretty well. Although I do have some problems, which I will get into. Basically, there's some anti-Trump messages in the book. Like, the story is about the new Mr. Miracle, black man by the name of Shilo Norman, has taken up a bet with a multi-billionaire called the Casino King Travis Donald, if I remember correctly, that was his name, who, for obvious reasons, looks exactly or very close to Donald Trump. So this billionaire decides to play dirty and sabotage his trick, and the trick involves him being strapped to a rocket while having missiles conveniently titled Patriot Missiles. Yeah, pretty obvious right there. And his locks malfunction, which means that he would get blown out of the sky and die. So while this is happening, he splits into two beings and is being chased around the world by a being known as a Black Racer, who is the living embodiment of death for the new gods. Basically, when a new god is about to die, the Black Racer will appear and essentially take them either to heaven or potentially to hell, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong in that. Basically, the Black Racer, in a sense, is kind of like the Silver Surfer from Marvel Comics, but his story is a little more tragic, and he's he's more darker. So the character's origin is really interesting, and I did enjoy his origins because while the book does have a slight SJW edge to it, I feel like the origin of Black Racer did deal with the realities of African American neighborhoods being affected heavily by drug pushers, and he was willing to stand up to them and actually got into a fight with one of the drug dealers, which is pretty rare because when you look at SJW books, they don't really tend to mention the issues in the black community. They mainly just blame it on white people and call everyone who is white racist and that type of bullshit. So I will say that origin for the Black Racer was definitely done pretty well. But basically the beginning and, in my opinion, the end with the obvious Trump references is pretty stupid. And they always have them say, "Oh, I have a hot girlfriend now," and it's like, yeah, okay, because again, they have a black guy with a hot blonde white woman and stuff, and hence they're obviously in this writer's mind, I think it, in my opinion, is kind of trying to basically attempt to push buttons and stuff. But since comic books are full of SJW writers now, it may be quite a while until the anti-SJWs get their chance to get some revenge on them. But I am hoping for the day. So all in all, if I was to rate this book from 1 to 10, I would give it about a 7. Now, if you take away the obvious and pretty stupid Trump references, I would think I would give it an 8 out of 10. But because of those, I'm going to drop it down 1 to 7. Because again, the story is good and the pacing is very well, and I can understand what is going on compared to Newsboy Legion. But again, the insert of politics into this, in my opinion, especially with a tribute book, to me just seems very dumb. And I just think that it's bad on the writer because it just seems pretty just unnecessary and takes away from what can be a really good tribute that could be enjoyed by all. And once again, at the back of the book, you have an actual comic book that was actually written by Jack Kirby on the back, which features New God characters, including the Black Racer, and as you can tell, stuff like that you don't really see in that, which makes it kind of more enjoyable compared to the actual comic book itself. So yeah, for $5, especially paying above the average, which is normally $2.99, I just really don't want to see that type of blatant attempt to force politics into stories. To me, it's just a sign of very bad writing, and it gets rather annoying after a while. So all in all, This is a better book than Newsboy Legion, but it definitely isn't up there with other DC books that I've read. So I am planning to review the other Jack Kirby tributes, which I hope are better, and I looked over one of them and they do seem better. So the question is, should you read The Black Racer and Shilo Norman? Well, if you can handle some forced, Trump references, then sure, it's a pretty good book. But if you're really anti seeing these, obvious political leanings of the writer enforced into the book, then I probably wouldn't recommend it. And instead, I would recommend you reading it for free online if you don't feel like supporting these types of stories. So, yeah. So, all in all, I think it was an okay read. It could have been better, and I kind of wish that they had used the original Mr. Miracle and not Shilo Norman. I know, sounds weird, right? A black comic book fan wanting the white version of the Mr. Miracle instead of the black version. Well, hell, I'm a purist. Sorry, guys. Call me racist or have internalized white supremacy, but that's who I am. So anyway, if you like what you saw, then hit the like button and subscribe, and the link to my Twitter account will be in the description. Anyway, Billy, Dank Lord of the Memes, signing out.